Okay.
Okay, then let's kick it off. So for people listening, quick introduction: Daniele Bootstrapped, a D2C brand, sports brand called MonkeyHands, to about 7 figures in revenue, selling around 20 euros per product. Last I
Around
checked,
that.
their online store around 20 euros
Correct.
per product.
1990.
99, yeah. And you manufacture everything in your own factory in Mexico City,
Correct.
and you ship globally. And yeah, you did all without outside funding, so bootstrap basically. And today
Correct.
we do a deep dive into what are the costs of building such a company besides the money. And that's also the first question that I would like to ask you is like, take me to a moment where you actually realized that building Monkey Hands was going to cost you more than only money. Like when you were like, okay, this is something, building this up will cost me more than I expected. Was there like a specific moment where you realized that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this was kind of this moment came very early. Let's say I'm very positive, and I would say to probably naive person at that point, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna start a business and I'm gonna sell this amount of products to this amount of clients, and I'm gonna reach like in a nutshell like enough revenue just to pay myself and all these things. But already after 1 month, 2 months, I had 200 products that I bought at first from my factory in Mexico. I was in Italy at that moment. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have these 200 products. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to gym studios and blah, blah, blah. And after a month and a half, I was like, I would never be able to sell these 200 products. It's going to take so long. I overestimated how easy it would have been to sell products because I was always working in sales, but my background was in B2B sales and not physical products. So yeah, I mean, it came very early. And yeah, I mean, after that, of course, now 200 products, you sell it in, I don't know, half a day. Uh, but back then at the beginning, it took like probably almost 2 months at the beginning.
Which is still quite impressive, 2 months. But you
It's
you also
still
said
quite
pub
impressive.
yeah.
Yeah, but tough.
You also, yeah, I can imagine. You said also like in a previous conversation that we had, like the first 2 years were brutal, like no salary, a few months of like savings left. What did you actually feel like day to day during that phase? Like what were your main feelings in this initial?
Yeah, I mean, you mean like at the beginning during the days that I couldn't have a salary, and oh yeah, I mean it's tough, super tough. I think it's one of probably the main breaking point because like your savings. I mean, the thing is that I quit my job and I was getting a good salary, but I didn't save enough money. So I started my business in an industry that I didn't know, full of energy, of course, full of positivity. But then at the end, your savings, they get through like, I don't know, they get you through like 4 or 5 months, even less. I mean, it depends on you basically going to spend your money as well. But then the salary is not coming. First year, no salary. First year, I only get at the end of the year, like a little bit of profits from, the end of the year, you do the profits and you have to also, they also get taxed. So what you have left
Mm.
is probably, it's not much. It's very little, but it was okay. At the end of the year, I got this. And you can go through the second year where I was basically not paying myself a salary, but I was basically going through like reimbursement, business reimbursements. And then at the third year, it's when I basically paid myself the first salary, which was half of less than half the one I was making 3 years earlier as an employee. So yeah, it's a long journey. It's a long journey, and it's not easy.
When was the time when you were like closest to saying, okay, that's it, like now I have to quit, or that doesn't make sense
Um,
to continue?
so let's put it this way: I mean, I have to quit. This didn't cross my mind about quitting, but it definitely crossed my mind looking for a stable job and trying to run this as a side business to see if it was going like somewhere at this point, at some point. Then, of course, it's something that likely I didn't give up because, in my opinion, if you want to do a business, I know it's hard, but I mean, you need to go full on it. There are people that they are able to do it as a side business. Like, to be honest, hats off, because you work 7, 8 hours a day. And after that, focusing on a business that you have to build from scratch, to be honest, it's just like, it's mental. You need to be a person that you are extremely focused, and being able to stay focused for like 10, 12 hours a day. You need to be a person that do not need, like, kind of life balance. I don't know, an extra hours to go to the gym, to do like simple things, staying with friends, with your partner. Some people do. I knew it wasn't my thing, so I quit a job and I went all in on the business. But when the business was not making money, I mean, the business was selling, but not selling enough, to pay myself a salary. I was like, okay, let's look for another job. And I don't know. I guess you have some internal forces, because when you scroll job postings and you see, okay, yeah, maybe I can apply this, it fits my CV, and then you click on a job post and you start reading what you have to go through, and like all the steps and all the interviewing process and all these things. You're like, no, I cannot go back to do this. I could have gone back to my previous job, because they always told me, anytime you want to come back, even after months, they
Mm.
quit my job and then I was doing my business. They would always say, if you want to come back, you can do it anytime. But I didn't want to go back, with a business that it kind of failed, or let's say it didn't succeed enough for me, like, to sustain myself. So some sort of proud. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
no, maybe look for something else. But I didn't want to the interviewing process, having a boss again. I don't know, like, I had this internal thing that I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. You close the laptop and you go, I don't know, training, and 1 hour you go back and you open the laptop again, and keep working on your business. Yeah, sometimes it's just needed, you close the laptop and you go out, because the moment in which you're having so many thoughts, negative thoughts about your business, just like, don't let those thoughts, like, sitting in your head. You just close, you go for a run, you go training, do something, see a friend, and then once you cool down, then you can go back home and work
Mm.
on your business.
How did, like, during this phase, how did like the hustle or like the uncertainty affect your relationships? Because I can imagine, as you said, like, it's stressful. There's a lot of uncertainty. Like, how did this affect the people around you or like the people with you?
Yeah, I mean, the probably the most affected one, probably the only, was my partner at the time, my wife, um, because of course she was getting all the stress that I was accumulating during the day,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that comes from, frustrations and uncertainty, and also some sort of, kind of, you don't feel satisfied, you don't feel fulfilled if, let's say, maybe I was able to support with grocery, but I wasn't paying the rent. So she was paying the rent, and these kind of things that you're not. I mean, personally, I mean, some people are okay with it, and to be honest, there is nothing wrong with this, because at the end, once you have a partner, it's the whole point, is that you are a team. Um, but somehow inside you, it doesn't feel right for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Kind of
yeah,
an imbalance.
it's an imbalance, and we were always honest with each other. So we were like, okay, but if I'm gonna start a business, that I won't be able to pay this for the first year at least. And she was like, I don't mind. That's okay. If this is what you want to do, you want to start a business, I can support, and then we can see how it goes. And if at any time you feel uncomfortable or whatever, you can just get a job again, because I mean, my CV was good. I mean, I quit 2 jobs, corporate first and then startup later, but I always was in good relationship with my ex-colleagues. So it was always like, I know I can come back, but give it a go. She was like, give it a go. So she also like helped me on taking this decision, this kind of this taking this leap. And of course, like, I mean, she also has ownership in the business. So to be honest, paying a rent for 1 year or 2 years, it kind of paid off way more than than the cost of the rent. But I mean, she deserved it because she was always
Yeah.
supporting. You know, when you start a business, let's say you don't have a family behind that can support you economically wise, or let's say you want to start a business and you either have enough money saved, or you either have like the family that is supporting you, or you have like a supporting partner. It's one of these three things, because I mean, you need a house to sleep in and you need food to eat, right? So in my case, if you know that, let's say in your situation, you have enough money to support yourself, that's perfect. If you rely on your partner at the beginning, or your parents that can give you like, okay, a runaway of 1 year, you need to make sure that this partner and those parents are not the ones telling you every day, okay, but how much money are you making? You know, like, if this is the last month, because otherwise, I cannot keep paying for everything myself. If these are the kind of supports that you're going to have, and you need to know these up front, because you know your parents and you know your partner, to be honest, it's not going to be like a blind leap. If you have this kind of support, then you can't. It's much better to stay alone. And if you have to stay alone, that's okay. Just make sure that you have enough money to survive, I don't know, 6 months, 1 year. In my case, also, what played a role probably was that I started a business, and 3 months later, COVID started. And COVID technically lasted 1 year and a half, because it was all 2020, but also 2021 till June, there was COVID.
Yeah.
It was 1 year and a half of COVID. So not the luckiest, but
But
yeah,
but that's
it was.
that's a nice perspective. So basically, like the supporting parents or partners, like giving them some equity on the business, so they own the business that you're building up,
Yeah,
and they're supporting you with. Quite an interesting concept. I
it's.
hadn't
I mean,
heard
it's well deserved. I mean, it's
for
it's
sure.
it's
Yeah.
you need to give back. You cannot have someone supporting you, because there are cases like this, like, especially not, I mean, parents, maybe they don't even want, let's say, an ownership, but let's say your partner that you like, there are so many cases, I supported him or I supported her. And then, after 2, 3 years, you break up or whatever, and they have nothing left. And I don't know, it's just like, it's not fair. It's some sort of
Sure.
supporting, puddings. It's kind of, you're not putting money in the business, but you're putting money allowing the person to live under a roof. Let's say.
Yeah, which is essential in bootstrapping, or like at the
Yeah,
beginning for
yeah,
sure.
exactly.
If you could go back during this time, like no salary, checking job postings, not being 100% sure if this works off, what would you tell yourself? Like, what would it be that you tell Daniele from back then?
Given their certainty that I was going to face, that's what you mean. Like,
Yeah,
um,
like during this phase of like uncertainty, no salary, like the beginning of starting MonkeyHands, like what would you tell him?
like, I do believe in business, in starting a business or whatever it is. There are there are no magic tricks. There are no, there are no shortcuts. Sometimes business owners, they say, oh, because I mean, like, gurus that you find on the web, they're gonna be like, I know how to do it, I will teach you everything. You don't have to teach anything. There is nothing to teach. The only thing that matter, it's basically one word, that it is perseverance. Okay, so you need to have that word kind of tattooed in your front head, so that you can see it every morning that you wake up, because it's hard to wake up when you know that the day is not going to be easy, because you're going to be working and with all the uncertainty. And you wash up your face and you see this kind of tattoo in your front head that say perseverance, because it's the only thing that is going to pay off. No one can teach you how to run your business. Every business is different. You need to find out by yourself, and you will find out by persevering on what you're doing every day. And maybe the initial idea that you had about your business, or the products you were selling, or the service you were offering, maybe it's not working. So you need to think about your business like university. You know, you every day you are learning something, and you listen to your customers. You check what probably others are doing, and then after a while it's going to pay off. You just don't need to give up. It's simple as that. And it I know it's easier said than done, especially right now that, I'm through the business. This is my 7th year, and now things are very comfortable. But the only thing I can think of going back was that simply knew that is I was going never to give up. This was going to pay off. That would have made me relax a lot, and understanding that it's not like, you listen to this guru on the web and they're like, can make millions in 6 months, and this is so fake. It's just like, yeah, there are cases like this. It's kind of unique cases, unicorns, and in that way, but that's not what people face usually. So it's just like, yes, be positive, all these things, but it's more than this. It's just that it's perseverance. That's there. You know, I can write a book on how to make a successful business, and this book would only have one word: perseverance, in every page. That's the only thing that you need to see in that book, because everything else is just like, it's your business. It's different of what I do. So the only thing that we have in common, all business owners, all entrepreneurs, is that thing, is that it's the perseverance that we need to go through in order to succeed. And for someone it might take 1 year, for some other 5 years, but it's definitely going to work out if you keep going. That's and if you learn, of course, from your business.
Nice. That would be a low-hanging fruit to publish this book. If it's just one
Yeah.
word, that would be
Yeah,
easygoing
you see, like,
bestseller.
I've been doing in the last year consultancy to business owners, pro bono, and at some point I was like, maybe this consultancy, it's kind of a waste of time for me and for the guys as well, because the whole half an hour, 45 minutes was all about their fears. It was never technical. It was always about, I don't know if this is going to work out, and they just want to talk to someone that it kind of made it, of course in a small scale, like in my case, but someone that made it, because they just want to feel like this kind of comfort, this kind of relax inside, that it's actually, it was hard for him, but he made it. So if it is hard for me right now, I can make it as well. And at the whole point, it's kind of like I was the therapist. They didn't want to know anything about business. So it's and that's true, because at the end, what can I tell you about my business if your business is completely different? You just want a comfort word. And the comfort word is just perseverance. That's it. It's one word. I could have said 45 minutes of consultants. They have said 45 minutes of their time. It's just one simple word.
Did you have somebody who was telling you this during your phase? You also mentioned
No,
to me in one conversation that personal ego was also like a big factor in terms of like motivation or keep going. Or
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I was, I was like, I remember I was talking to people, and everyone was like, "You cannot make a business out of a grip. This is not a business. It's kind of, it's one product that you put in your hands, and then you're gonna train better because you're not gonna sweat, and then you're gonna stick to the product. And but this is not a business. I've never had anyone having a business selling this thing. It's not enough. And you have people kind of around you, kind of taking you down, and my personal ego was always like, the days that I had like mental breakdown, uncertainties, I was like, no, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna make a 7-digit business out of this product, no matter what. And so this was my internal motivation. And I didn't talk to anyone, because I didn't know how to get in touch even with, these business owners. And in most of cases, you had to spend money to talk to them, consultancies, pro bono. I didn't even check, to be honest. I didn't know they existed. And to be honest, I didn't even know that they could give me some insight that I could actually use in my business. Going back, I mean, this was also like maybe a wrong perspective. Maybe, yes, maybe someone could have helped me, like at least telling me, yes, I mean, you can do it, because you need to talk to someone that did it, not the people that are like, no, it's never going to work, but I never did a business.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
But
would
it
have
worked.
been, yeah, it worked, and it would have been basically the same. I mean, I'm not expecting anyone telling me something different than, don't give up, or it's this whole world of kind of entrepreneur that made it, helping the new entrepreneurs. It's all about emotional support. You will see this because you already talked to many entrepreneurs. Maybe um, there are someone else that is more like ego driven, and they're going to be like, but not, I mean, I have internal ego, but I'm outside of my internal ego. I'm a very like simple, and I don't feel comfortable like selling dreams, like selling magic formulas. I made money, you can make millions, I will teach you all. These kind of guru things, it's not something that belongs to me. Someone else probably will take advantage of their results just to sell expensive consultancy and stuff like this. But it's really like it's within yourself, and you need to mentally focus on that. It's being positive that it's going to work.
Nice. Well said. I would say, as we only have a few minutes left, um, should we go to the rapid fire? Like, I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Yeah, go
In the
ahead.
best case, one sentence or one word, and very spontaneous, and 6 questions. So let's kick it off. So the first one is: if you had to start your business again with only 500 euros, what's the first thing you'd spend it on?
Product. Same as I did.
What's the most overrated startup growth hack?
Uh, um, Probably consultancy, like going to a consultant and get their knowledge. It's not a growth hack, because you have to learn by yourself.
Okay. Do you have like a habit that keeps you relaxed, or like keeps you grounded?
Yeah, I keep doing the same. I stop, and I go for a walk, or I just like, the moments you have these many thoughts and this anxiety on these things, you just stop and you need to go for a walk because you're not thinking clearly.
Okay. What's a business you'd love to build if MonkeyHands or IlioCare didn't exist?
I would say another consumer product. I don't know which one, but it's nice to see the results and the satisfactions on people's hands when they're using your products, and they're gonna be like, I love it. It helped me a lot. So it's a great feeling.
And what's the worst piece of advice you ever received?
Don't quit your corporate job. It's too good.
And the last one, if you can finish the sentence: building a business is like.
Roller coaster. Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Thanks, Daniele.
Of course.
Thanks for taking the time. Was a pleasure. And yeah, very insightful, very inspiring. And also thanks for sharing like honest thoughts and experiences from your story.
No worries. It was fun. Fun as always. I hope that this is gonna help someone. And yeah, good luck with your podcast.